If you haven't heard already, Rec Room is shutting down forever. I decided I don't want to talk about it before it's gone. So in this video, I'll discuss the 5 stages of Rec Room I experienced. Each stage has its own unique memories and experiences that I kill to go back to relive. I'll also run some clips I have from my Quest 2 as well. But besides that, let's dive right into it. Chapter 1, the beginning. I roughly remembered the first time I played Rec Room, all the way back in 2020. I remember seeing it on the Oculus Store for free, clicking on it, and looking at what its contents were. Obviously, 10-year-old me was interested in what it was, so I downloaded it. I remember walking through the tutorial for the first time and being so lost, but I remember falling in love with the scenery. Honestly, there was a point when Rec Room was the only idea of what a college looked like to me, and I loved it. I remember entering my dorm for the first time and messing with my avatar. I put on a Rainbow Pride hoodie and the shag hairstyle. Because, well, one, I loved rainbows and thought it was the coolest looking hoodie, just cosmetic, and I always only saw the shag as what describes my hair. I then stumbled around the rec center before hitting paintball. That's where it started for me, getting on and playing paintball for hours. Then I discovered rooms and started playing freeze tag and Sonic paintball. But eventually, this game would fade out for me for a bit, until early 2022. Chapter 2, Ari and Bryce. I remember when I played VR a lot, by myself of course, mostly in Gorilla Tag and the occasional Rec Room, which I'd picked up again around the same time I started really getting into Gorilla Tag. Two of my best friends got VR. First, Ari. He always had a headset, it was his dad's, but he never really played on it. So one day, I convinced him on and taught him Gorilla Tag. And boom, me and Ari were on all the time, including a good bit of Rec Room, which we were able to convince Bryce to get. Sadly, he could only play on his computer, but it never stopped our fun together. And then, before we knew it, the end of the year hit, and Bryce got his first VR headset. And so, we taught Bryce Gorilla Tag, and then jumped straight into Rec Room. And that started it all. Chapter 3, the peak of my Rec Room experience. Every day, at least to start, Bryce, Ari, and I were always getting in Rec Room. Of course, we played Gorilla Tag as well, but at this point in time, it just couldn't compare. We'd all spend hours laughing and playing together as a trio or in pairs. I have so many photos and videos from that period, and I'm so grateful that younger me decided to save those moments. Rec Room eventually, of course, faded out for a bit, until peak arrived. The Backrooms All-Seeing. This changed our lives. Seriously, we'd be itching to get on every day to try and beat the game and solve the mystery. We never could get past level 2 or 3 in the beginning, so one day Bryce and I faked beating the game because we thought the end level was the actual ending. It was not, but we took a photo together to show Ari as a joke, and I think back to that time a lot. It was just so much fun. Of course, after weeks of playing, we beat the game, but even then, we kept playing hours devoted to the silly game just for the Backrooms. Eventually, of course, we grew out of it, but we didn't stop playing Rec Room, and still played the Backrooms from time to time. I remember one time Bryce and I were playing Rec Room from 9 p.m. until like 6 in the morning. We were goofing off in the park map I named Fun as Yes. It was so silly and stupid that night, but it was fun. I even made my first invention that night, a Freddy Fazbear plushie, to which Bryce and I started recoloring and making all sorts of versions, which included Egg Freddy, Tennis Ball Freddy, Shadow Freddy, Old Sport Freddy, and Fredbear / Golden Freddy, including a modified one I made for Funtime Freddy. After about 8 months of playing Rec Room, we slowly evolved into Pavlov as we became burnt out on Rec Room. Of course, we had the occasional playing I'd convinced Bryce and Ari on, which were fun nonetheless, like the Drunken Bar Fight map, or the Friday on the 13th map, or a bunch of stupid silly maps all combined into one day, and of course, even the Backrooms. But soon enough, VR was just not as exciting anymore. Chapter 4, Fading Out and New Friends. As 2023 blows by into 2024, Rec Room once again started to become a me-only game. So I'd play by myself again. I made more friends, played stuff solo, but it just wasn't the same. I still got on most of the time and played all sorts of games, but soon enough I started pulling away from it. Convincing Bryce and Ari to get on was harder and nearly impossible. it'd take me hours sometimes to beg them to get on just to do the back rooms. So it became a once in a blue moon game if we all got on to play it. I started playing more by myself on a Dragon Ball PvP game, but that was it. Until I met him, Julian. 2024's musical at my school was Shrek, and Julian had just broken free from the horrible witch that held him, his ex-girlfriend. I met him through our common friends, who I had been friends with from prior years, and we connected like Legos. Julian has always been such a fun and exciting friend, and he loved Rec Room. So Julian and our friend Tyler, or as we call him a lot, Shane, introduced me to Dragon Ball PvP 2. This was so much fun, getting my butt whooped like there was no tomorrow. But I played more in an online service, so when we'd face off, the battles would be more intense and fun. Of course, this new trio I was a part of led us to play other Rec Room maps too. It was such a blast playing with people who were interested in the game again. Julian and I personally beat the Backrooms All Seeing together at its newest update and haven't touched it in, well, about 2 years. But of course, like all good things, Rec Room faded out again. But when I'd get on, it was actually with friends from then on. Chapter 5, Rec Room Today. So, it became mostly Julian and I playing a lot of the time, with, of course, Shane joining half of the time. Needless to say, it was definitely fun. And I even got to reconnect with an old friend of mine, Connor, or as we used to call him in 8th grade, his 7th, Cookie. But now, as of just a few months ago, before I heard the news, I hadn't really touched Rec Room all that much, besides the occasional Julian and Shane on Dragon Ball PvP 2. But then the news dropped, and it really hit me hard. And it made me take a few steps back. So obviously, Julian and Shane and our other friend Chris, we started playing all together more. And recently, actually, we played for Ari's Execution, which occurs every April 1st, so that was really fun. But as of right now, I've been spending more time looking back at Rec Room videos and pictures and laughing and remembering those beautiful memories. I get on every few days or so, but as June 1st nears, I'm noticing I'm getting on more and more. Rec Room changed my life, made my friendships stronger, and gave me memories I'm sure I will remember as I get old and gray. It was and still is an experience I love, and to go back again and do it all over, I'd accept it like there's no tomorrow. I first attended Rec Room College in 2020. For the past 6 years, I have loved every moment I've spent on campus. There are countless more memories I didn't mention here that I lived through. 30 plus Rec Room friends I've lost to time, but remember the voices and the fun we had. Of course, with all my closer life friends, attending this university with them was such an amazing experience. As I graduate this year, I will look back at the memories I've made and the person Rec Room helped me grow into. Of course, I'm gonna cry and miss being here, but I will not let graduating make me sad. I will look at this as a new chapter of wild and silly adventures I'll be going on. When I look back at Rec Room College, I still see all the countless hours I devoted and spent here. Me running around, making all sorts of friends. There's honestly nowhere else I could think I would have rather spent my time. I thank all my friends, college friends, staff, coach, and the owners of this amazing college for the memories, experiences, opportunities, and inspiration they've provided me with. I'm so forever grateful I was accepted into such an amazing college, and although I'm sad to see it goodbye, I thank Rec Room College for everything. I'm truly happy I get to graduate, and I only wish I could have attended this college longer and not skip so many classes. I love you, Rec Room. Forever and always.